Welcome everybody to Wisdom Within, which is an event on the Inner Wisdom community. So today we've got Catherine Anness and our subject is letting go, which I can't wait to talk about. So I've had a week where I've had numerous people talking to me about letting go, or actually finding difficulty in it. And it's for somebody who has never experienced that, really. It can be quite a frightening thing, can't it, Catherine?
It can seem like a very frightening thing. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
So I thought it would be a great subject for us today. So I'm going to pass over to you and let's see your thoughts about that first of all.
I really love the topic, Marion. As soon as you suggested it, I was yes. And so I spent the morning just sort of reflecting on what that's looked like for me, and like what does that really mean, letting go? Because we've all heard it suggested or heard those words used. And so I got really curious as I sort of sat quietly with it, which is what I do in the morning with my coffee, just to prepare, just to get into a reflective state and see what occurs to me around it. And so this morning, what occurred to me around letting go was that it looks to me that it isn't the letting go that's difficult. It's being in a state of resistance. You know, we're so used to being in a state of resistance that the idea of letting go seems difficult or frightening or scary. Letting go, actually, from my perspective, feels really great. Like, think of the exhalation. So there's an inhalation and an exhalation. An exhalation is a great metaphor for letting go.
Yeah.
So we let go, and what happens? We relax. We decompress. But for most of us, we are so used to living in a state of resistance to what is, that it's the idea of letting go that feels really frightening. It isn't actually the letting go. The letting go is a beautiful feeling. It's like drifting off to sleep. So I started to think about, what does it feel like really to let go? Now, when we fall asleep, we're letting go of everything. We're letting go of the illusion of control. We're letting go of thinking that we have to keep tabs on anything. We have to really just settle in and drop into a deeper state of trust to let go. So then I thought, well, this is it. The letting go is, for me, dependent on the big view. You see, if I'm only focused on my little perspective, letting go is frightening. I'm in the illusion of needing to control life.
Yeah.
As my perspective broadens and widens and opens up, and I feel my connection to all that is, then I can let go, and I find that I'm held. So the bigger picture allows me, so if I'm looking at life through the wrong end of the telescope, and just focusing on my own personal narrative and personal story, it feels like I have to control everything. As I let go of that, and that's an illusion. We all know that control is an illusion. That's an illusion that we construct. We're not really in control, and things like the pandemic show us that. Well, we have choices about how to respond to life. And that's very different from being in control of everything. So for me, Marion, it really leads to letting go, leads to looking at how much I trust the greater unfolding of my life. And as I've come to trust how my life was unfolding in the big picture, it's much easier for me to let go and go with the flow in life.
That is so true, because when that is very true, because being a reformed control freak, who found letting go the most frightening thing ever. It wasn't until I started seeing the bigger picture of life that things became so easy. And in fact, my life changed like hugely when I realized that letting go was just so much more peaceful. So when I work with people who have anxiety, for example, or let's say perfectionists who, you know, cling on to control and need the world to be just like this. So what you're saying is that they are looking at their life so closely at what they can cling on to, that they're not able to see the bigger picture of what it feels like to let go, I guess.
Yeah. Well, okay. Yes. So if I love the broader name of your group, which is, or part of it, we're discovering who you really are. You know, the inner wisdom and discovering who we really are. When we see ourselves as just separate little individuals in the world, of course we try to control and manipulate and take charge, and it's up to us. Now, when I drop into a peaceful state of mind, I sense my connection to all that is. You know, so this letting go, instead of me falling off the cliff, like for me, my little personal ego, if I let go, it feels like there's a cliff to fall off of.
Yeah,
right?
That is true.
That
is what people tell me.
I've been hanging on so tightly to the illusion of control that the idea of letting go, I feel like my little ego that feels separate, feels like there's a cliff to fall off to.
Yeah.
In actuality, the illusion is what my little ego is creating.
Yes.
And when I fall out of that, I fall into a broader sense of who and what I am, truly, beyond the ego. I sense my connection to the larger community of life, not just people, but the natural world around me. I sense that on a deeper and deeper level the more I let go. So letting go is a reflection for me of clarity. So as I let go, I drop into the present moment.
Yeah.
Right? So as I let go, what I'm really letting go of is thoughts about the past and thoughts about the future.
And what can be, or what
because,
should be.
Right. Because that's all there ever is to let go of. And when I let go of those things, it drops me right here into the present moment. And it's in the present moment that I sense my connection to all that is, or to a deeper wisdom. And it's in the present moment that I have access to that deeper wisdom. So what I let go of is my own personal narrative of what might happen, or what I resent that did happen in the past. I drop into this moment. And in this moment, that is where I find my connection to all that is. You know, I sense that. I experience that in the present moment. And in that present moment, a deeper wisdom can arise within me about what to do next.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
And by the way, that's one of the biggest things with people who need control, is that they have a lack of feeling of safety.
Yes.
So when they don't feel safe, they hold on to control. But what they don't see is, as you said, is that when you let go, you actually, that it's that moment when you let go that you're able to access that beautiful voice inside, that's your wisdom, that's guiding you, and it tells you in the moment what you need to do. It will always, always, always keep you safe. So biggest thing that my clients ask me, Catherine, is how do you let go? It's that from understanding why they're controlling to knowing that in the letting go, this is where you get to. So what do you say about that bridge?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we all need to know what practically, what does this look like? And for me, it involves doing what makes sense for me in the moment to relax and be at ease to a greater degree. Now, if I've experienced trauma in the past, and many of us have,
Yeah.
When we were children and we didn't have any control over our environment or what was being done to us, again, we develop really important coping mechanisms, and that looks like trying to be in control. As we get older, they don't always serve us well. They can what started out as something that was really protective and helpful as we go through our lives, can become then the barrier to growth. Yeah. And to opening up and trusting life. So I think there are two very important parts of this. So there's having a lot of compassion and kindness and gentleness with ourselves when we find ourselves and see ourselves trying to control what can't be controlled. Mm. And there's one of the important things about dropping into the present moment is that you can then assess whether or not you are currently now safe.
Yeah.
We can only discover that in the present moment. And so as we begin to work with that, okay, I'm going to be here for myself. I may not have been safe in the past, but I'm safe now in this moment. And in this moment, my own wisdom is here to guide and direct me. Okay, so I guess on a more practical level, so that there's an awareness here that has to open up within us. Again, you spoke this morning about awareness, and that's the beginning of every doing, every effective doing. So a greater awareness opens up within us. And in the moment, we do what occurs to us that brings us to a greater state of being relaxed and at ease in the moment. So relaxing and being at ease is the same thing as letting go. It's just the resistance that feels like I'm hanging on to something that I think if I relax and am at ease, it's going to put me into danger. Mm. So we have to have awareness of the present moment to assure ourselves that we're safe in this moment. And then maybe it's a breathing exercise. Maybe it's coming on to one of your programs. Maybe it's calling up someone who can give us support. So again, we're always pointing back to discovering our own inner wisdom in relation to how do we let go of our conditioned, fearful responses to life and drop into a deeper wisdom. When I let go of my conditioned, fearful responses, that's when I drop into a deeper wisdom. Now, it's like which came first, the chicken or the egg? So in my own experience, Marion, and I'm really curious about your own too, when I didn't know that I had my own inner wisdom, I was totally focused on the outside, looking for it from people and experiences externally. But something within me was waking up. Something within me. I'd ignored it for so long, or been told it didn't exist, or that I was too something or other, or not enough of. Yet when we hear the truth and it's spoken, that little flame that's within us, that is the truth as well, starts to grow. So letting go for me is letting go of my own fearful, conditioned responses to life that are no longer serving me. And I wish there was an easy prescription to just say, do A, B, and C, and then you're going to be free on the other side. But for me, it's over and over again, learning to trust that inner wisdom as it arises.
And just what you said just then, actually, that, if I was looking at a bridge, and I always talk about the bridge, that here I'm being controlling, and here this is when I'm happy and connected and in touch with my inner wisdom, that what I say to people is, it's when you trust that there is something that is there for you when you let go. And to trust that there's something, the only way to trust that is to start discovering what that is.
We have to experience it, don't we?
Yeah, the more that you understand what your wisdom is and what it's there for. So when you said about what was my experience, that the over the years I've changed from being, you know, very, very low self-esteem and shy and not confident at all to where I am today. And that journey has been because, and there are many things I did, but really the biggest thing is knowing that I have a wisdom inside of me and a voice, because now I trust it implicitly, apart from when I lose my mind, which I do occasionally. But once I come back to clarity, when I really trust, because I know it's there and I trust it, then that's okay for me to let go, because I trust myself now. Whereas before I didn't trust myself.
Absolutely. And I think most of us, you know, most of us somewhere along the way are told we shouldn't trust ourselves. It's not safe to trust ourselves. Or we're told that we're stupid, or we're not good enough, or we don't know enough. And so the journey home becomes the journey of questioning that personal narrative. And dropping back into the wisdom that is our true nature. And those are just words until we start to experience. The words are enough at first, though, because when you hear truth, again, it lights up something within you. And so, but we have the difficulty of, we have to be the ones who take this step towards a truer experience of life. And so I often say, I was lucky that life pulled the rug out from under me early on. And why would I say that? I can say that now because I was looking in the wrong direction for my sense of security, for my sense of self-esteem, for my sense of self-worth. And so I look at it now as, you know, the intelligence of life really trying to get my attention. So there was a gift in the rug being pulled out, because all of my eggs were in the basket of marriage, you know, having somebody else love me. I did not love myself. I didn't value myself. I didn't know what my life was about by the time I was in my late teens. It was all about looking for validation outside of myself. So as those external sources of validation fell away, and I'm not, you know, it felt devastating at the time. It was a big crisis, but it turned me inward. Turned me inward, because it didn't happen in a void. There were always comforting messages. You know, there were always deeper truths that were calling me. You know, and at some point I started to listen. So it was, sorry.
Aren't we? We've got that at the moment, Catherine, that you know, in the UK, just for example, during the coronavirus, is we are now in lockdown, and lots of people are having to let go of everything that they were doing. So that's number one. And now they're living with people that they're not used to being around all the time. And they're having to let go of, hopefully, of some of their patterns of behavior that aren't really serving them very well. And so the only place that any of us actually, in times of any sort of crisis, the only thing any of us can do is go inside. Because if we rely on the outside world, that's not going to work. So that's the first, you know, the first journey is to go inside and discover that your well-being, you're good enough, you're lovable, your safety, your security is only inside you. And when you know that, then letting go becomes so much easier.
Letting go becomes exciting, you know, because the part of me that wants to hang on and control doesn't see the big picture. I have no idea really what is behind, you know, if I take my intellect and put it up against the intelligence, you know, behind all of life, or the intelligence, you know, that animating principle within me, you know, so there's this, what I see as this divine energy running through me. And then there's my little conditioned thought stream, you know, so that my puny little conditioned thought stream, like, come on. You know, and that's that negative voice inside my head that I listened to for, you know, I didn't listen to it. It wasn't there probably for the first 2 or 3 years, but innocently we get this programming that says, be afraid, you're not good enough, some version of that. And we start identifying with that more than this deeper wisdom that's flowing through each and every one of us and always will be. And so for me, the journey home was about disengaging from that conditioned personal thought stream. There was this still small voice inside of me. And I'll say honestly, when I first started hearing that there was wisdom within me, I was like, you gotta be kidding. Like,
yeah, I don't know anything.
Joking.
I screw up.
Right? Of course. But as we keep looking in that direction, and as we identify less with this conditioned personal thought stream, and I know that's a heavy, I don't know if you can, I think most people get some idea of this repetitive, negative, looping tape recording that's in the mind. And then occasionally something breaks through that, and it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And it's invigorating, and it brings clarity. And so the more we listen to that, less to what we've been conditioned to listen to, which is very limited and very fearful and doesn't see the big picture.
Yeah.
The less we listen to that, the more this deeper wisdom can reveal itself to us, and it will reveal itself to each and every one of us uniquely. My wisdom doesn't tell me what to do for everybody else in the world. It might guide me to support other people, but it gives me very practical, profound, but also very simple instructions about what to do next. And so for me, the journey home and letting go, what I let go of is listening to and identifying with this fearful, insecure voice as much as possible. It's not always possible. But I know that when I let go of that, I'm going to fall into this deeper, spacious awareness that's intelligent. So I'm always wanting to be moving towards what brings greater clarity, what feels deeply harmonious. There are a lot of voices out there. So I want to let go of being attached to the judgmental, critical voice inside and listen for a deeper wisdom. For me, that's the ultimate letting go.
Yeah.
I'm letting go of my version of what life is supposed to look like and what it's supposed to be. And I'm dropping into a deeper trust in the larger unfolding of life. Now, I have to practice that. I have to make that choice over and over and over again. I don't just do it once and it's a done deal. But it's like flexing a muscle. The more I let go of my personal narrative, of how my personal story, and the more I drop into the bigger picture, the more I learn to trust. There's a deeper wisdom. There's an intelligence that goes beyond my personal intelligence, and it's worthy of my trust. So that's my choice. I have to let go of my ego's version of reality. I don't know. We don't get a free pass. Like, it just, no one comes, I don't know. Some people do, maybe. There are people who have these amazing awakenings. And I'm fascinated by those people. I'm fascinated by those experiences, but I have not had the big one, the big awakening where I'm free of my personal fears and insecurities. I've had incremental, I live a much freer life. So my inner experience of letting go is I let go of my version, but because I've come to trust that there's a larger intelligence. There's a larger unfolding that's completely trustworthy, 100% of the time, 100%.
So I had a client today who said to me, okay, I understand all of that, but how do I let go of my chitter chatter? I'd love to hear what you say, what your answer is, because I know what mine was, but I'd love to hear what yours was. Because there's no technique, isn't that right, Catherine? There are no techniques. in any of this. It's just
There's no one
understanding.
answer that works for everybody. See, this is where our own journey, like our journey is unique to us, is that first of all, there's an element of grace to this, Marion, that I can't explain. There's an element of grace that allowed me to start to see, to hear a larger truth than this nattering that was going on in my head, and allowed me to move in the direction of what brought me greater peace. This is an ongoing journey. I'm always making choices about whether to go towards the loudest noise, the marching band, or whether to go in the direction of my inner peace, which is that flute that's underneath the louder noises. And this week we'll return to this over and over and over again. People don't think they have access to their own answers. At the very beginning, someone said to me, ask and then wait for an answer. Get quiet. However, do that. Expect an answer to arise within you. Now, I didn't have much faith that was going to do anything.
Yeah.
But you know what? Something in me said, I'm going to experiment with that. I'm going to get curious.
Yeah.
So
beautiful.
I think, pointing people back to the fact that if they really sincerely are seeking, they'll find and they'll hear. It's without doubt, because I remember clearly when I didn't feel like I had access to any wisdom, and yet I remember clearly what it felt like to be drawn towards what felt light, what felt true, what felt peaceful, what gave me a greater sense of ease. And that's the guiding light. That's our own wisdom within, and it's going to look different for everyone. And as much as we want to give people answers, all we can do is come from that place ourselves with certainty that they have this within them, because this is universal. This isn't unique to you or I, this inner wisdom and this clarity. And the more we head in that direction, the more joyful the journey becomes, and the more certainty we develop around this inner wisdom. And it's a journey. It's a journey for all of us, and
we can choose to go in that direction as well, Catherine.
It's always a choice, Marion, isn't it? Isn't it always
a beautiful choice?
It is a beautiful choice, and it can feel horrible when we get lost. My partner and I, we're not quite on lockdown. We went, we do a lot of ice fishing here in Canada, and we went to a place that we go to, and I'll just give you, a little quick story here.
I'm mindful of the time.
Yeah, we went there, and it brought back a whole bunch of memories about a really bad time in our relationship. It was a beautiful day. We were having a great time. All of a sudden, my head was full of these memories of having been there, and things were not good. Guess what? I was under the influence of all of that conditioned thinking for about 3 hours during that day. It was just like something had taken me over, and I was just picking through all of that garbage again.
But what's interesting, Catherine, don't you agree that something inside of you knew that was going on, though?
Here's what was beautiful. A few years ago, I would have been totally lost in that. Now, there was a part of me that was observing what was going on. See? And so I saw it for what it was, this amazing, creative power of thought that our consciousness and our apparatus here brings to life. And I was living under the influence of that movie in my head rather than being present in the moment to the beauty of life. Yeah. So, that's just letting go of that, the clarity to see that as we begin to see this over and over. a clarity develops around, oh, this is a choice. I can keep looking in that direction,
Yeah.
or I can let it go.
Yeah.
And I can look in a different direction, in a direction that brings me peace and clarity and drops me into the present moment rather than me, picking over the garbage from the past. So again, yeah, you're right. That's a choice, isn't it? So the more we see this, the more you spoke again this morning about awareness, then as we go and live our lives, we just see this deeper and deeper and deeper. And we have a choice to drop into the present moment, into that mystery, and see what reveals itself to us.
Yeah. Oh, it's so beautiful, isn't it? I love talking about it. It's so lovely hearing you.
I think it's the most beautiful thing ever.
Yes. And I know that you've got to rush off today, otherwise I'm sure that we probably keep going. But we've seen so much today. So I can't wait to share this around as well. So next week, we'll be coming back with another beautiful subject, and we'll see where that takes us.
I love spending time with you, and I love that we get the opportunity to just look in the direction of this together, Marion, and hopefully it'll be helpful to whoever is listening.
I'm sure it will.
Thank you, ladies. I have to run.
Yes. Thank you so much. See you next week.
I love spending time with you. Take care.
Take care.